Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Dean, and we're back, and we have a full slate today. We'll get to that in just a second. As always, this is brought to you by our friends at Easy Auto Financial, easyautofinancial.ca. Get yourself in a vehicle and stop dicking around. They'll take anybody's credit, and, you know, some people have bad credit, so these are your people. If you have bad credit, good credit, it's a cakewalk. Easyautofinancial.ca. As well, domination.com. Dominate with content by using domination.com, dmntn.com. We use them. You can use them too if you're a creator of sorts. Super easy. It cuts your time in like a tenth of the time to be able to produce promos, gaming, streaming, podcasts, and more. Try them today, domination.com. And, of course, Ed's Fine Imports. edsfineimports.com. It's where you get your Gitch. It's where we get our Gitch, luxury branded underwear, GITCH3. That is your promo code. Use them today. Well. We split up the sausage fest today. It's just, I'm sorry. It is a heavy, male skewed, whatever the fuck this is. So I like to wheel in some smarter individuals, and I like to bring in my friends. And today, no different. Please welcome to the program from the number 3 wilderness podcast in the country, and the number 65 sports podcast in the country. Just launched it like a week ago. Anne Ivison from the Let's Take This Outside podcast. How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm great. I like that Caryma and I are we're coordinating colors today for the spring. Yeah, I like it a lot.
You got a lot going on. Some aubergine and just a very professional look. You both have straight hair today. You look terrific. Caryma Rules is here at Caryma Rules. Caryma Sod. It's a color. It's like a purple. Is aubergine a purple? Is that correct?
I would just call that purple, actually.
Yeah. Is it a dominating purple aubergine? Or is it more like a lighter purple?
It, yeah.
You're going to have to give me back your man card very soon.
Dominating aubergine.
A dominating purple. Is that what aubergine? And I like the answer when she wears it. Yes, it is. Lachlan Cross is here as well, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter.
I'm
where you can
just
find
learning about aubergine as a color.
Yeah, it's a real color. Yeah. I remember my ex, she was really familiar with color. She's like, no, that's aubergine. I'm like, you said purple. She's like, aubergine. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know what you're talking about. So that's where I get the word for it. But I'm assuming that's aubergine.
Jesus.
I feel like
right now.
I just imagine Dean has an entire color palette behind somewhere that he's able to refer to.
No, he has a cat
right in front of him, but I'm imagining.
That's why this conversation's bizarre to me.
Yeah. I don't know anything about colors. I just got a cat shitting behind me in a calendar. Speaking of cats, Caryma, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. I'm glad you're here. Randy and Tamara, of course, Randy Hillier, Tamara Lich, a couple of organizers of the convoy. They got boned. They're in trouble. They may have damaged their ability to stay out of prison over the past couple of days. And fascinating story. We'll get to that. Some fundraising. We've got some bouldering to talk about. Jordan Peterson to get to. It's shit-eating season. We're going to talk a little bit about Will and Jada. Not a lot, but I need a lady perspective on this. Pardon me for using the effeminate. It requires, right? It requires like a legitimate conversation with women, and we've just been all a bunch of dudes sitting around talking about Will and Jada going, oh, she made him do it. And I'm like, I don't think we can say that without a woman here. So I'm really happy you guys are here to weigh in on that as well.
Hold on. I just want to make sure no one sells me down the river on that. I said she may have been the reason he went up there, but he needed to own the fact that he went up there. That she is part of the dismantling of his psyche for sure. But I didn't say she made him go up there.
It's pretty close to what you said, actually.
No, I didn't. I knew this was going to happen. What he brings ladies on to gang up on me, and then that's what's I could see this already. I could see this playing out.
What were you going to say, Marianne? You're going to say something?
So can I just talk about yesterday's show with Scott and Bonzi?
For sure.
I love seeing Scott on. Him and I just kind of know each other through the radio industry.
Yeah.
And I was reminded about just the past, and I actually Googled and looked up if I could still have access to my radio prep sheets. And if you don't know, I was in radio for 12 years. I got laid off about a year ago. Yeah. And so Dean, explain what prep sheets are, because I was able to find one. Again. My login still works. Yeah. From over a year ago. No one's questioned me or emailed me.
Of course
or
not.
Anything, so
of course it still works.
No, it was I don't want to say it just in case they try to revoke it from me. I don't even want to say which one it is.
So. Come on.
So real quick, and I will explain what a prep sheet is. Now, Caryma, you're in for a treat because we're going to take you inside radio here real quick.
All right.
Now, unlike being a lawyer,
get a helmet.
In radio, what happens is, and Marianne was a very successful radio announcer for a very long period of time. Yeah, you
Not
were.
that successful.
Yeah, yes, you were. Very successful.
Yeah, you were. You're very successful. You're
Super
in one of the top
successful.
markets in Canada. If I'm not mistaken, Ottawa's number 7.
So she was very successful. And when we say the words like prep sheets, Caryma, what we mean is this, is that every single morning or before your shift, radio companies, because they would hire people that had a hard time putting together like thoughts and sentences. So they would hire these services to, like, every morning you get this fresh email of all kinds of topics you could talk about. And they're just as cheesy and dumb as you think they are. Like, they're unbelievably crazy. It's like, here's something you could ask your audience today. How many combs do you have in your house?
You'll find out in 2 seconds. But what's great about this is I want to fully admit that I used these prep sheets. Like, I used these.
I still use them.
Yeah, I use them. So I'm not any
serious?
better. I'm not any better.
Today is National Sandwich Day. You may want to talk about people's favorite sandwiches.
Okay, so the reason
imagine this. Hang on one second. Kareem, imagine this. You show up every single morning. You get to your desk. You're a lawyer, and it's like, here's how you're going to fight your case today. Don't even bother thinking. It's going to be fine.
Amazing.
Yeah. Sorry, Marianne. Go ahead.
What's great is that I always know someone's in radio because it's my friends specifically, and they post like, it's National Appreciate Your Husband Day, and it's only radio people that post it. Again, I used to do this stuff too, but today I saw like 3 National Appreciate Your Husband Days. But it's because of these prep sheets that people know that that's the case.
Okay, so
Now you have prep sheets. Where do they come from?
Somebody that couldn't keep his job in radio.
That's true. It's true. It's like these
really
old radio
organized
guys that are like, I'll just create prep and send it to people, and I'm really organized. Yeah, and I got great websites. Like, that's who these people are. Anyway, sorry, Marianne.
Can I tell a quick story about prep sheets?
Yes, please.
I have a service that I use, but it's not so much. It's more a collection of entertainment news and stuff like that. And it's a nice thing to have because it's like a one-stop shopping, right? So it's got headlines, it's got everything. And some asshole who can't sleep at night or something obviously makes this thing and sends it out every night at midnight. So you get in at 4:00 in the morning and you can punch it up and just see what's happening, just in case you miss something, right? But I know which Marianne's talking about. There's a bunch of these prep services and these sheets. Like, there's a ton. I can't remember any of the names. Bullsheet was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Pulse. I use Pulse.
Clever.
Pulse was another one.
Yeah.
Yes, Pulse is a good one. But there was a ton of these things, and we had, for some reason in the building, we had subscribed to, I don't know, like 10 of them, and you pay, it's like $20 a month or something like that. And finally the boss said, why are we using, like, asked if any of us was using it, or asked us if we were using it. And I said, I use this one, that's it. And he goes, okay, well, I'm canceling the rest. Well, a couple of the jocks in the building who still use them were so upset. And he killed them all. He put a bullet in like 6, 7, 8 of them, like, and saved us probably $150 a month or some crazy thing. Like,
big money. It's how you know when you take a prep sheet away from a radio person and they complain. It's how you know they do no work. Anyway, sorry.
Maybe that's why I got fired.
That's why I still have it. So, what is this prep sheet? Like, is it a current prep sheet?
This one's from today.
Yeah.
So I just get, like, there's entertainment news, there's country news on this one specifically, but I just took some like of the weird lifestyle ones out. So should I do it in like a radio voice? Like, hey
please,
guys.
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you
have
to. Ladies and gentlemen, Marianne Ivison.
So here's the headline. Here's a headline.
Yes.
So this is okay. You know, I'm gonna pretend that I'm starting the break. Okay.
Yes.
Like,
welcome back. Record.
Give me a Coldplay.
Coldplay. Always.
Coldplay. Yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow.
You bet, for sure.
All right. Coldplay. Yellow on the Dean Blundell Show. Welcome back. It's 4:22 Thursday afternoon. Yeah. Sun's shining, everyone. Did you know Kentucky Hotel invites guests to bring their houseplants for the stay? The world's first plant-friendly hotel experience kicks off April 8th, everyone, and will offer the Gardener's premier corner room for 6 king suites for plant-friendly natural light.
Oh shit! I did that break this
Did
morning.
you do that today? Or did you know?
Yeah.
422.
Time check. What about the temperature? 19 degrees.
2 degrees in downtown Ottawa. Did you know? It's a study, by the way.
Yeah.
For female cat lovers between the age of 20 and 22. People who grew up in the country have a better sense of direction than those who grew up in cities, everyone.
I did not know that, Marianne.
You're welcome.
Wow. Wow.
And guess 423. Cadbury has just released a new caramel product.
See, I would talk about that.
It's available now at select supermarkets. It's called the Caramel Breakaway.
Yeah. Hello.
That's all I got. That's all I
Food
got.
and booze topics are huge
We'll-
on our
we'll be-
show.
we'll be
Anytime
right
we
back.
talk about food,
Woo.
we get
We'll-
like the text lines go crazy. This morning, I was trying to get people to make suggestions on what scotch to use in a rusty nail because my wife has decided that she's going to start drinking rusty nails.
Oh, that's
Fuck,
good.
we
for
got
you.
more interaction on that break than we did on anything all week.
Maybe the prep services are good then. Sorry, I didn't know
Maybe
that.
you need it. Maybe,
Yeah.
Maybe
I love
you
the
need
cat
it.
story. I love the cat story. You should
I
do
just
more
made that
cat
first
stories.
part up.
Oh, did you really?
I love
Cat
the
lovers
off-
between the
the-
ages
Yes,
of 22
yes.
and 24.
The
the
specific
offbeat
demo.
section, Marianne, is one of my favorites because
Weird
it's always
news.
a crazy story, yeah, and it's always Florida.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Caryma. Sorry, this is very inside
Yeah, I
radio.
apologize. I
baseball.
didn't mean to do that.
No,
But
it's I
ties in.
enjoy this fly on the wall. This is
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys worked so hard.
424.
I didn't know. And a little time check. I
I'm
think
going to
you
time
guys
check
worked
this
so hard.
entire show.
That'd be great. You should do that. Speaking of cats, because you were talking about cats, Caryma, little problem this morning because you put up a video that I had a problem with. And it's not like I don't have a problem with you at all. You know I don't have a problem with you. I have a fucking problem with cats. And you put out a video, and I watched the whole fucking thing. And it is a long ass cat video. Like it is.
30 seconds.
It's a super long cat video, Caryma. It's like really long. Here it is. But look at this. This is, and there's no words. There's no words. This is just, you're like, these are my cats. You put this on Twitter. Hard-hitting
Oh, they
journalist.
look evil.
One of Canada's best gonzo journalists. And she's like,
Those-
look at my shitty cats.
They're not
Look at
shitty. No, they're my little babies.
Look at those things.
Yeah.
You know, when
those
you
are
die,
fucking
they're
the
going to
devil.
eat your face.
Yeah, oh yeah. Why?
Maybe
might
not
not
that
even
one,
wait
but
till
that
I die,
other
I
one
don't
is
know.
going to eat. Show that other one. That other one's got
Oh, look at
Satan in
it.
them.
Oh, dude.
No, not that one.
See,
one's
that
fine.
cat's pretty peaceful. The one
Yeah.
with the nipples.
Look
This
at
one,
this.
like
That
this one,
is
that's a
Satan's
dick
second
cat.
sister. Look at that.
That is a dick. What is the name of this dick cat?
That's Zuko.
Suko? Suko's an asshole.
Close to Satan.
He's got asshole eyes.
Yeah.
Look at his eyes. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill someone as soon as
Yeah.
Caryma turns around. I'm gonna go after someone's throat. I'm going for the juggler. No one even
Who
knows.
needs guard
That's-
dogs?
I'd rather have
when you
him on
got-
my side than not.
Is he aggressive?
No, he's a really affectionate cat. It doesn't come across in this particular
No.
picture. But he will like come up and he like licks people. He like headbutts. He lives in the mall, so he's very, very friendly. He's a bodega cat.
I don't even know what that means. He just
lives
looks
in
like,
the mall?
is that French for asshole cat?
No,
So it's
he
not
just, he
your
lives
cat,
in,
you
like,
just
bodegas
feed it?
in like New York, where there's like a pet cat basically in the convenience store. So
Oh.
he's like the Chinatown Center's resident mascot.
Why the cats? Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I would say
Dog.
I'm a cat person. They're lower maintenance.
But you have dogs.
Yes, there's dogs as well. They don't get along.
They fight like cats and dogs?
He got that from the prep service.
I got it from Pulse.
I keep them separate.
Yeah. I don't get it. Do they hang out with you? I've only
Yeah.
ever seen.
So it's like there's so many misconceptions about cats, and I blame the mainstream media for this. Actually,
Yeah. Well, I blame cats, but go ahead.
Hold on, Zuko, come here.
Yeah, Zuko.
He doesn't really come on command.
No, it's a cat.
I told you he's a dick.
Nice try. Yeah.
That was maybe I shouldn't have led with
That's
that.
not a misconception.
But he's a good boy. Here we go.
Oh, there he goes. You got help bringing you your cat now.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with you. Look at that. He's going, let me down, lady. I don't know what you're doing. I was perfectly fine without you. See, look at that. There he goes. I told you. Zuko's
No
a dick.
hands. He's still here.
Okay, now he's not. He's gone. You can't do that.
I just want the tail on the show the whole time.
I'm very curious about it lives in the mall. Like, I don't understand. Like, so you live like close to the mall and it just comes and hangs out at your place?
No, he doesn't come to my place. He lives in the mall. So my office is at the mall. I spend most of my waking hours here. And this way no one is walking across my face while I sleep.
Yeah, okay. So no one's walking across my face when I sleep. So you just leave your pets at the mall? Like when you go home?
In my office, it's locked. It's not
All right.
just they have free reign of the mall while
I was
I'm
going
away.
to say.
Okay.
They probably like that, but
Yeah.
I'm imagining a whole Disney series on this.
it would actually, it would be a good Pixar, I think.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Last thing I want to talk to you about before we get to the business that we came here to get to, which is Randy Hillier, Tamara Lich, and the business of breaching bail, which I hope they did. I sincerely hope they did. This was you last weekend. I'm going to play a video. You went to 2 WWE shows, and people don't know.
WWE.
Yeah. Marianne is also a massive WWE fan.
Was back in the day.
She still is.
Was.
Loves it. Lives for it. Watches like twice a week. Watch this. This is you.
Yes, when are you going again? Back to California? California? San Diego? Enjoy. Have a good time.
So I have no idea who any of those people are, with the exception of Trish Stratus, who I know, and she's a friend of mine.
Is she still around?
Oh yeah, she does nothing other
She
than dropping.
She was like a guest host, but she got involved a little bit towards the end. It's a house show, so I'm not going to ruin anything. But she served some justice.
What does that mean?
Because Becky Lynch cheated.
What's a house show?
Yeah, we don't know what a house show means. You're going to explain it.
you're
You're talking highbrow wrestling.
Oh, okay. A house show is one that's not televised. So it's just for the benefit of the audience. But there can be title changes, right? So it's not a fake show. It's just one that's not on TV.
Okay.
Marianne's iPhone.
Oh, Marianne's iPhone just
Sorry.
turned on. That's okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
Silent.
So how long have you been watching wrestling for? And how old are you today?
I've been
curious
watching
about
since
this.
I can remember. So
Yeah.
probably since birth.
Uh-huh.
But like my first real recollection would probably be at age 4. And I'm currently 32 years old.
32 years old, still a major league wrestling fan. I got a DM from Caryma over the last weekend, or like maybe the week before. She's like, listen, I've secured some excellent tickets for this weekend's wrestling event. If you would like to join me, I have a few extra tickets. And if you've got someone else who wants to come. Well, there's a bunch of us going. And I had to read it twice. I was like, oh, you weren't kidding.
It was genuine, yeah.
It was very genuine.
Why didn't you go?
Well, because
That's
I was
what I
busy.
said.
I had a bunch of stuff. I guested from out of town last weekend. I was busy. I was doing some stuff.
I would have
and so
been way more honest with you about my lack of participation, but
It's so much fun. No, it's so much fun.
Okay, so how do you say it's so much fun, and I know you love it. Like I said to you something this week, I'm like, man, I would just love to love one thing as much as you love that, right? Like, how is
I'm jealous too.
Yeah, totally jealous. Like, people can make fun of you, but like, you were beaming all weekend. You were like taking pictures next to the ring. You're taking pictures as Trish Stratus was coming over. You're like waving to people. Like, you literally revert back into a 12-year-old. But what is it, which is incredible to me, but what is it that you fucking love about this so much still? And how does it translate into you following crazies around? Because it's very similar, right?
It is. I think that there's probably some overlap in the demographic. I think that's why I attracted the Freedom Convoy. So it's a mixture of things, right? It's the costumes, it's the music, the entrance, the swagger, like the signs, people cheering. It's just good vibes all around. And you know, it's theater, right? Like, yeah, I know it's not real, but neither are movies, neither are plays, neither is the opera. So you know that this is my opera.
All right.
Do you really get into the storylines? Do you really get like, are you really into that? Do you like follow those very, very closely? That's a part of it, right? Like that's the whole part of enjoying it.
It is for sure. I ebb and flow, right? So there's times where I am more closely following, and then others where just there's other, like, life gets in the way. But I do follow sort of the dirt sheets and kind of what's going on in the biz. And there's WWE. I'm also a fan of AEW. So there's there's other promotions as well, but I'm not that kind of, I don't have that much.
Can I tell a quick wrestling story?
You can't say you're not that into it. Okay, you can't. You just were like, I love this and I love that, and I went to every event. I can't stop, but I'm not that much of a nerd.
I think it's cute.
I gotta tell a quick story.
Super cute.
Yeah.
So our little buddy James P. White on the show just recently joined Monster Pro Wrestling, which is a pretty low level local wrestling group. Like they fight in a legion. Like the first Saturday of every month. There's an event this Saturday. Gates at 6, fighting start. The bell rings at 7. I talked to the organizer today on the show. Massive Damage is his name. Anyway, they went a couple of months back when Jimmy was just starting with this group, this Monster Pro Wrestling. And of course, I didn't go, and I regret it to this day. And there's a bunch of stories that came out of that night. They all got shit tanked and went to watch Jimmy. And the thing about the wrestling is that a lot of kids are into it, right? And Caryma and some older people will drag their kids out. And I think part of the reason why they drag their kids out is it's kind of like, well, like, I'm still into it, but it makes more sense if I'm at this with my 8 or 9 or 10-year-old. So Grant says, he goes,
they're pimping their kids, like they're using their kids. Oh, he loves it, and the kid's like, I don't want to be here, and the dad's like, yeah, the whole time.
So Grant goes and they sit right up front because I said to them, I said, get some video, so we have some video of Jimmy, and so they're right up front. And the show's going on, and Jimmy makes his big entrance. Jimmy's 4 feet tall, and he's playing a heel. And Grant starts yelling, punch him in the cock! Punch him in the cock! And all these kids in the front row start chanting, punch him in the cock! Punch him in the cock! And Grant goes, I don't think I should go back to this wrestling anymore because I'm going to get these kids into trouble.
That's where the good learning happens. I don't know. At the front row.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Life lessons.
I've been to one WWE event. It was in Vancouver, and I was like 15 years old. And I remember my brother taking me. He's like, I got 2 tickets to WWE. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, let's go. And I was like way into it. And when you get there, nothing can prepare you for how angry people are, how much fun people are having. The spitting. There's a lot of spitting at WWE events. I got spit on 2 or 3 times. Keep in mind, this is in the 90s, so it's like no big deal.
It was okay to spit on people.
Yeah, the spitting was like the preferred method of saying hi. Like it
I
was
don't
one
know
of
if
those
I've ever
things.
been spat at a show.
Oh well, I have. Maybe that's probably why I don't go back to those things. But what people don't know is that our very own Anne Ivison was a huge wrestling fan as well. As a matter of fact, she was a big rock fan, like most young ladies are.
I was a big Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fan before he was like a big movie star. Like I remember my brother's 2 years older than me. So like I always thought like what he did was super cool. So I would watch, it was WWF at the time. And we would watch it together. And of course it was like the Triple H days and the Rock days and Big Show, like that era. And I love The Rock so much that I have this, it's still there. It's in my childhood bedroom at my parents' house. But there's a poster of The Rock above my bed at home. And then I did a speech on The Rock when I was in grade 8. I made it to like regionals. And I did the whole, like, there's all these other people being like really professional and talking about politics and spelling. And I'm like, can you smell? Like, I did the whole thing. And I wish I could find that speech.
I'd like for you to do it right here. That would be incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
if
think
my
it's like
wife
8 or
was
9
your
minutes.
mother, we'd still have it, and it would be beside me on a.
I want to do it just for Caryma because I would like to. I want to see how accurate. I hope it was factually correct.
Yeah.
I never did the wrestling thing. I never understood it. I had a grandmother. My great grandmother was into Stampede wrestling, and when she was at the house, she would demand that we put the Stampede wrestling on, and she would get so wound up, and she'd be smashing her cane on the floor and on the couch and on the coffee table. She was so into it. I never once in my entire life, and then listen, I am not trying to escape being uncool here or anything like that. I just never understood it. I never got it as a kid. I don't get it as an adult. I actually have a great deal of concern for adults, sorry, Caryma, that are still into it. I worked in a building where the whole building made fun of golf and hockey and baseball, and they tailored their entire radio shows around wrestling.
They sound cool.
It was awful. I was surrounded by all these wrestling nerds. To this day, I never understood it, and I used to make fun of them all the time.
That's the thing is, like, if you have a hobby, like you love watching hockey or you love watching basketball, you're a big basketball fan, you're a big wrestling fan. I know that the outcome of a basketball game is 100% real, generally speaking, unless it's there's a fix. Same thing with a basketball game, baseball game, et cetera, et cetera. But like, you probably have a pretty decent idea of what's going to happen in each one of these things if you follow the storyline, right? And then, of course, you all know that the outcome is engineered. So is it the story or the outcome? Like, do you have you guys you root for, or do you just love the pageantry of the whole thing? Because that's the part of it. If you're an adult, I'm like, oh, I get it. It's a comforting thing. You watched it when you were a kid. You enjoy it. You followed it. So therefore, is your hobby. So you enjoy the pageantry. But if you're one of those people that sits at home and goes, that fucking Rey Mysterio.
See, I don't even know
that
their names.
Fucking guy. I hate him so much. Or if you sit around talking with your friends about how much you loved The Undertaker's time in the WWE, those are the people I worry about in their adult years, much with like what Lachlan's saying. And I don't know what. Well,
are you expressing concern right now?
Yeah,
Caryma? Is this an intervention?
Are we attacking Caryma? Like, what is it? I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part of that.
I have a great deal of concern for Caryma.
No, so the pageantry is part of it, but I'm not so fussed about it being a predetermined outcome. First of all, because you never really know what direction the writers are going to take, right? WWE is not known for being crowd pleasers. So sometimes you sort of assume it's going to go one way and then you just get sort of swerved. But, I don't know what direction like the writers of any show are going to go, right? Like maybe I can guess, right? I can't even think of a TV show.
Sorry, they have writers for this stuff?
At the WWE, they do. In AEW, they don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, just so we're clear. I didn't know that they had writers for this stuff.
Well, Jimmy is going to prepare tonight for the Monster Pro Wrestling on Saturday at the Alberta Avenue Community Center. And they have to figure out a scenario as to why Wacky Willie or Willie the Wanderer Boy or whatever the hell his name is broke his leg because he's a high flyer, I guess. I got the whole thing on the way in to work today about how Weirdo Willie or whatever his name is, we have to write a scenario. And now we have to also explain why Jimmy's in charge of the Carnival of Chaos. So they do have to prepare all this stuff ahead of time, Dean. So the advantage in the WWE is that you don't have to do that yourself. You got people working that out for you behind the scenes.
The writers, it's hit or miss. I would love that job. Yeah, I would love that because I think I would do a better job. But that's just me. And the matches themselves, right? Like you have, or my understanding is they have a sense of kind of what they're going to have certain spots, right? And certain moves are going to be done. And this is the general flow of things. But it's also like there's improvisation in it. So I don't know. They're artists in every sense of the word.
I think there is a
watched it.
point to that, and that's one thing that I will defend. I mean, I think it is not easy to do this. And back in the day, these guys used to travel around, right? And they used to do a show, like 4 or 5 shows. Like they are doing more damage to their body than like most sports, you know, based on what they have to put themselves through, and just the rigors of competing. And yeah, you got to be a pretty severe, like a very good athlete to do this. I think full time.
And insane.
Absolutely.
And insane. You know how many like fucking professional wrestlers die before they're 50 of like, you know, all the shit that they did to themselves in the ring? Like that's one of those like
they start taking pills for stuff, and you know, like
That's
there's a
true.
lot of that, I think.
Yeah,
right.
I think there's a few pills in wrestling. Yes, I think there's probably some pain killing in wrestling. Anyway, fascinating is if you follow Caryma, you know how much she absolutely fucking loves wrestling. It is mind blowing.
That
Yeah,
and
it's
cats.
cool. That and cats, like shithead cats.
And we're not concerned about you at all.
Yeah, Marianne.
It's 4:43.
Thank you. Bringing us back. All right, let's get to it because you came here for a bunch of different stuff, and we got wrapped up in a bunch of different stuff. Please welcome Ryan Lindley, who's here again today.
So 4:43, 43 minutes past the hour. We got your 5-day forecast coming up for you in the next break. After we're done talking about ladies who like wrestling.
Yeah.
Do you like wrestling? Give us a call right now.
Yeah, he's making fun of Lachlan's career, actually, right now. That's what he was
Exactly
doing.
what I was doing.
Hey, hold on. I don't sound like that, do I?
No, not
I
not
start
anymore.
sounding like that. Somebody please
Put a
that'll
bullet
be
in
the
you?
time for an intermission.
I need to listen to your show. Do you need an air check? Do you need me to air check your show?
Actually, that would be fantastic.
We
Can
love
we do
it
it live
Can we
on
do it
our
live?
show?
Can we do it live here?
So I want to get to a couple of things because Ryan wrote a great article. This is why Caryma is here as well. Happy to have everybody's involvement. But you wrote a great piece on Randy Hillier this week. And now a lot of people don't know this, and some do. Randy Hillier was charged with 10 different things because he did a whole bunch of illegal shit during the convoy pre and post. One of the organizers, he gets charged, let out on bail. And one of his bail conditions, Ryan, well, he's got, I don't know how many bail conditions. What, 7? Did we say
There's
7
8.
bail conditions? 8 bail conditions.
Yeah.
And Caryma's here to kind of break down some of the comeuppance, but it to me over the past couple of days, we've seen not just him but a couple of other people breach those conditions. In my non-legal opinion, like it's very different, which is again why Caryma's here, because what she's going to do is probably pour a little bit of cold water on my desire to see everybody involved in this thing thrown in jail for an extended period of time, right? So having
He
said all
wants
that,
Randy Hillier to go to jail for 30 years.
so bad, so
There's
bad.
one. There's
Yeah.
one that I think that we might have a bit of a chance with, and it was number 7 on Randy's bail conditions. And it was just the wording that got me. And I put it in the article there where it says, do not post or cause anyone else to post on social media. So I could see if it's, his social media, but somebody else signs it. But they actually put that disclaimer in that he can't cause someone else to post something. So
Right.
do we have a chance, Caryma? Can we?
Well, let me just lay out
What
a
did-
little bit
yeah,
of
what did he-
evidence. Well,
yeah,
I'll
what
show
did
you.
he-
Yeah, it's
okay.
fascinating because Ryan threw this up. He says, I love being right. It's fucking delicious. No more lockdowns, which is a site or an organization that has helped Randy Hillier, raise money. He's involved in it. To what extent, we don't know. He says political persecution is getting worse in Canada. This is a tweet against the Marxist
Randy.
doctrine of Canada. Please consider donating to our legal defense initiative. I stand with Randy Hillier. Free Randy. And then it says donate to the legal defense, and it's no more lockdowns. And then there's Ryan dunking on it. It's the best. And there it is again if you want to have a look at it. But it's in reference to this little press release that Randy Hillier put out on his MPP letterhead, because he is a member of provincial parliament, where he basically said this was an attempt to intimidate me, and it's an attempt to intimidate political opposition. Said he was in custody for 10 hours. He paints this fucked up story about how he's been under the thumb of a dictator like Justin Trudeau. Substantial population of Canadians are waking up to a brave new world, he's saying. And then he's got, until further notice, all media inquiries can be sent to his lawyer, David Anber. You know him, Caryma, so I want to touch on him in just a second. But is this not, because this is his organization, or he is associated with this organization. He's using this organization to put out a message that he is a political opponent of the government, and that's it, which is a fucking lie, number one. And number two, he's using this to raise funds. Now, fundraising and having people put stuff on social media, when your bail conditions say you can't fundraise on social media and you can't put stuff on social media, to me is a breach. Can you explain where you come at this and how you come at this? Because again, I'm hoping for the best.
So, I mean, I think the first thing I would say is in the term "do not cause someone else to post on social media," that can be interpreted quite broadly. And with this being sort of no more lockdowns being its own separate entity, short of there being evidence of either the same IP address or device being used as Randy has used for his own tweets, there might not be anything to that. There's not a clear connection that he is making someone post. Now, obviously, they're fundraising for him, so that's kind of the substance of what they are getting at. But as far as these conditions go, a condition is only as meaningful as it is if actually enforced. And the court, in deciding to impose these restrictions, I think that we, collectively, need to sort of take a step back and think about sort of the extent of this overcorrection, because I think that's what it is. It's an overcorrection for sort of a lack of action, what amounts to a policing failure, a political failure, a social failure. And we're trying to use the criminal justice system to resolve that. And I don't think that it's the appropriate tool. I think the more that we can understand this from a lens of it being a social problem, and really thinking about kind of restraint in using criminal law, because
this is exactly what I said. I've been saying this all week.
Wait, hold it. So you're saying, and he has to that point, but just so I'm clear on this, what you're saying is you think this is even just the idea that he was charged with what he was charged with is an overreach. Is
I
that
don't
what you're
think
saying?
the charges are an issue. I think the fact that he's not able to post on social media about COVID mandates, I think that is concerning, thinking forward, right? So always we look at the big picture, right? And what does allow normalizing something in one context, what is that going to mean in other contexts, and what is this condition actually responding to? So I personally think that the condition itself, it's what the court has determined, but is it actually even constitutional? I don't know.
The unintended consequence is what I keep bringing up, right? Like, what are we causing from this? What are we creating? And are we adding to the problem? I'm sorry, I may have screwed up Ryan's. He wanted to jump in and clarify a point.
Mm-hmm. No, it was just I totally agree with Caryma. She's right. And she's coming at it from a civil liberties stance. And I think she's correct. And they are important. It's not, we're not anti-freedom people. Those people just have a skewed idea of what the fuck freedom is in this country. The clarification on that bail condition was not to cause anyone else to post on social media about the Freedom Convoy, COVID-19 mask or vaccine mandates, or the anti-vaccine cause. And I agree with that, but everything else, like the 911, telling people to flood 911, we can't put the Ivermectin back in the tube now. It's already out. He's broken these laws, and I think he should be have his day in court. And if he's found guilty, I'm not worried about what this sets a precedent of. I think this should set an example for especially politicians.
In terms of his breach, if he did breach, you mean?
Absolutely. Because I'm telling you right now, if some guy that is in on a misdemeanor, or sorry, here we have summary conviction charges, or that even a minor indictable offense breaches a condition that's not part of a freedom convoy or something that's plastered all over the front page of the news every day, that guy's going to get breached immediately. The cops are at his door the next day. These guys, Tamara Lich, Randy Hillier, now all the other ones. I don't even know if Ditcher's got conditions.
No, he's running around like a crypto freak. Actually, right now.
Like because it's such a hot potato, nobody wants to touch it, or nobody wants to like push the envelope. Why are we pushing it with people that can't afford to feed their kids, or sold some pot one day and all of a sudden now they're a drug dealer, and somebody that was camped out in front of a mall asking for change, and they get charged with trespassing, and now they breach a condition and they get thrown in jail. Like, come on. I don't care that it's Randy Hillier.
Beyond that, even there's times that a condition gets removed and police just don't update their system and will then charge people for things that they truly are not doing wrong. So I think that's my concern, using the criminal justice system to resolve this when we already know that police are very cozy with white supremacy, right-wing sort of movements, right? That's how the Freedom Convoy was allowed to entrench itself the way that
That's
it did.
The bigger issue.
And we're turning to police to enforce this and to resolve this. I think that is a mistake. And I don't think that this gets resolved in any way but through civil discourse. And that discourse becomes harder and harder the more that we sort of
muddy the waters.
Okay, so I agree with that, and I Ryan, I appreciate the clarity there, because what we're talking about is did you do something wrong, and are you accountable for what you did wrong? We all know that Randy did some shit that was wrong, and he should be accountable for those things that were wrong. I get it, and I said this on the show like I think last week to Locke. He's like, "Well, what do you want out of this?" Because we had an argument about it. It was a healthy one, though, Locke. I appreciate it.
It was a good argument. We have
a good
healthy arguments. We disagree well.
Yeah, we do. We're good disagreeers. But when we were talking about it in a sense that Locke was like, this is going to make things worse, right? And I think that's kind of, I don't know if that's how you're coming at this, Caryma. I'm not sure if that's your tack, but because I'm a big fan of like, pay the natural consequences so that we can get on with our lives and everybody can know where the handrails are with society, right? Because as soon as we start doing that, as soon as we start seeing people pay consequences for shit-eating season, you're going to start the mental sluicing of this country kind of come together, I think. But what you're saying is there's a social conundrum here, right? You're saying this isn't a legal problem, this is a social problem. But isn't following the law when someone breaks it, doesn't that set precedent for people socially to continue to break the law, number one? And number two, is Randy Hillier being unfairly treated then, according to what you're talking about in terms of his conditions? Like, do you think that this is a PR political solution, or do you think they're legitimately driving a legal result?
I don't. I think that he's going to obviously characterize himself as being martyred, right?
Yeah.
And he's being politically persecuted, and that's a narrative that
great for business.
We really, it's good for him and bad for society, and one that we don't want to feed into. I think what my main point here is, in sort of celebrating the arrest of Randy Hillier, thinking more about criminal law as a tool to resolve this. And that's not to say he should be without consequence for what he has done. And I think that, he should get a trial and due process and all of that. But once we start normalizing or introducing conditions that prevent speech, because that is what this is, and we are characterizing this speech as being dangerous, and this is uncharted territory, and he's still presumed innocent at this point. I worry about what it means for sort of the next protest, and that again, in a democratic society, what is important is that caging people is a last resort, and if we reflexively just that's what we turn to, knowing that police are part of this problem, I think we're setting ourselves up for a world of hurt. And this is not, it's not a majority of the population, this group, but it's not an insignificant part of the population either. So are we just writing everyone off, or like what is our goal or end game? And there are no easy answers or solutions. What I am fairly confident in saying, though, is that the criminal justice system as a hammer to punish these people who did bad stuff, what actually happened in the convoy, and what is the real source of harm? Like, what is the harm that we are concerned about, and how do we address that harm? Because I don't think that it really comes from these Joe Blow, Randy Hillier may be a separate sort of case because he does have this pedestal as a politician and more clout and influence and a greater responsibility as a result. But I think that this is just the wrong approach overall, entrusting this to police.
I'm glad you said it, because you were far more articulate than I was, and I struggled with my opposition to how they've been handling this thing after the fact, because I don't want it to make it look like I'm pro convoy. Right. And that's the world that we live in right now. There's no gray. We can't talk about the gray. You're either let's put them away from 30 years, or you're on your way to Ottawa for the next one. And there is a lot of gray. I think an interesting part of this conversation should be thrown at Marianne. How do you feel about the process that we're in now of going after the organizers, having been somebody that lived through this? You were in Ottawa. Mm-hmm. You watched this from your balcony.
I don't have the same understanding, obviously, that Caryma does. In fact, I'm learning a lot in the last, 20 minutes or so about this, because after it was all said and done, I felt like it was so intense for those, almost a month, that I had to detach for a bit. So, I paid attention. In fact, I had Randy Hillier is in jail coffee with my friend the other day who lives in the neighborhood. And that was really fun. That was nice. And we barely even talked about it, to be honest. But I think just from a perspective of what happened and the way it affected the residents and the way it affected downtown residents, seeing them at least like the due diligence of them being arrested and them having these charges is something, right? I think it feels justified because there's so many of these people who terrorize residents who will face zero consequences, right? Who are just able to drive away with no consequences. So at least having these organizers put potentially on the stand, I think brings some justice at least. And I think this is going to be years before we find out anything. But honestly, like I'm still learning and figuring it out. But another part of me is detached from a lot of it and kind of just let me know when is someone going to jail or not. Or but also I selfishly love the fact that he can't just like tweet whatever he wants right now. I know maybe that's not.
That's fair.
I know that's maybe not.
You're allowed to have that opinion. But you lived through it, right?
Yeah,
right?
But the fact that he can't just tweet whatever he wants right now, like I remember that day when he tweeted like the bomb, right? When he tweeted the bomb
tank shells and the gas tanks.
Thank you for reminding me of that. And it was like I could feel it in my gut. I could feel that feeling in my gut that like, how is this person allowed to do this? How is this person allowed
He's a government
to
official?
Right. So to tweet this. So yeah, there's definitely this part of me that's like, yeah, let's shut him up and like not let him on Twitter.
You
right?
vacated your own home, didn't you? And like left the city.
I did for the second weekend after like the first weekend was so intrusive. So the second weekend I did, and then I stayed around for the rest of it. But yeah, no, I'm kind of glad that he can't stay. But what Caryma's saying also makes a lot of sense too, because I believe in fair process as well. So I'm torn. I'm torn on it. Yeah.
I think about what Caryma said about the police and using the police as the tool to solve this, and she's right. why are I don't understand. Like we were talking. Well, I wasn't there, but you guys were talking about the police officer yesterday that was put up on Police Service Act charges for making that video in her cruiser.
Constable Erica Hammond.
That's her. Yeah, she's up on 6 PSA charges, and she's a police officer. Why aren't we holding our government officials to the same standard with some sort of punitive damage? Like, I know they censured him and they said, "Oh, you have to apologize," and like that means jack shit.
I think that's what they're attempting to do with Randy.
Well, but they didn't. It's a very, very light.
Like, I think you're asking, like, how the fuck is this guy allowed to and Caryma, this is the question, right?
He put that stupid letter out on Legislative Assembly official letterhead. Like, that's my paper. I paid for that, for him to put his fucking garbage on that and distribute it. Like, this is what I'm talking. Like, how is that allowed?
Yeah,
this is so. I think Caryma's right. I think,
is he allowed to make statements like that, like a press release? If he's not allowed to be on social media, does this not?
That came from his office.
Caryma, do you know?
In the 21st century, what isn't on social media? Like,
right.
we have all sorts of updates. You know, that's our live feed. Everything is on social media. Everything.
We're social media right now, so we're actually showing that. So yeah, arrest him.
He made us do it.
We found a loophole, guys.
He paid us.
Right in the middle of the show.
I think we should send Marianne to arrest him.
Yeah, I do too. Marianne, you would love that, eh? Just to go and arrest him. How about
with you and your
coffee? I'm gonna start smoking. I'm gonna start smoking on the way there.
Yeah,
you should. I think you know what I think they should do, if they're not going to like follow his breach of conditions letter of the law. Do like that thing that they do in like third world countries. Just like, if you were offended by this person, come on over to this gravel pit and you can beat the shit out of him for like a half an hour, right? Like, that would be a great way to end this for people like Marianne, just to go take a couple of licks at him. But going back to the original problem is that he's still tweeting. Right, Caryma? The original problem is that his bail conditions say he kind of can't be doing what he's sort of subvertedly doing, but he's never been held accountable for any of it to begin with, right? And so what you're saying is, how do you claw that back now? How do you start applying the law when you haven't applied the law? Because now it looks like some kind of fugazi attempt to go ahead and claw back whatever reputational capital Ottawa police might have lost, that politicians in this whole thing lost. So which is it? And that's the question I'm asking you, I guess, Caryma. Is this a legal problem or is this a social problem now? Because he's doing exactly what he shouldn't be doing. It says it in his fucking conditions.
It's absolutely both, because the law is a social tool and instrument, right? And, you know, in some ways, this being a condition of his release, and one that we may not see enforced, or we'll see. It remains to be seen, right? What happens with that? That obviously doesn't engender a lot of confidence in the administration of justice. So it's doubly harmful, because we have this condition that's supposed to be applied. Should it even be there? Juries, I mean, the court has said yes. It's subject to appeal. Personally, I worry about the broader implications. But setting all of that aside, if no one's doing anything about it, then it's a bad look, right, for the justice system. So it's lose, lose, lose. And this is a social problem, and we need to figure out a way to deal with it, and to do so in a way that doesn't further exacerbate divides, I think. And that's a very tall order.
That ship may have sailed.
No shit.
You know, it's interesting that Caryma because whenever we have her on, she's so good at framing this stuff that you can't help but use what she's saying to sort of rewire your thought process on it. And the interesting thing about Caryma is she still has this sort of utopian view that the legal system, it needs to be used to
properly
stop people from doing the things that we think are illegal as an overall society, right? And I'm not there yet. I've never thought that, and maybe it's just from my sort of my criminal mind makeup, but I say things on the radio all the time that I say things like I have been saying now for quite a few months. We have this catalytic converter problem in Edmonton right now. People are stealing catalytic converters, and it's a raging pain in the ass. It's like $1,700 to replace these things, and you're not going to get it covered by the insurance. And these guys literally crawl underneath these cars all over the city. They cut them out, and then they go to the metal shops and they sell them and they make money off of it, right? And it's just getting worse. People are getting more and more desperate. So I keep saying on the radio that if you catch one of them, it's not common knowledge, but it's legal to beat them. And I keep getting told that I can't say this on the radio.
Look at Caryma's legal face right now.
Yeah.
She just wants you to shut the fuck up.
See, and I think I have a way more effective approach to, because I had a bat in my car for a long time, and somebody phoned me, actually a cop phoned me and said, don't put a bat in there. Because if you do use
Put a ball and
bat,
glove in there
they're
with
going to
it.
go, why do you have a bat? He said, get something heavy, like a flashlight. So now I have this like flashlight that's heavy. He says, that's better. Because that
as big as this?
Is this as big as,
It's as big as
Mary Ann's
Mary
Peter
Ann's
North
mic.
microphone?
Karima,
So-
could you imagine having to represent Lachlan in court? Could you imagine trying to keep him quiet?
I'd be probably encouraging him. Maybe we don't want to take the stand, Lachlan. Maybe just stay.
He wouldn't need to be on the stand. He could be in the parking lot and they'd hear
I
him.
swear to God, if I catch some dick underneath my Subaru cutting off
getting a
my
mag light
catalytic
to the head?
converter, he's getting a beating of his life. And
It's-
from what I've been told by the radio announcer in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, it's totally legal to do
No,
that.
it's totally not legal. Yeah.
No, but hold
you've
on.
just-
My point being,
you've just uttered intent on the internet for the entire world. So
Yeah.
I've done it
So
daily on my radio show,
God
Ryan. I'm
forbid
already
you get
well
in a
aware.
fight after this point.
So anyway, Caryma, the point I'm trying to make is that I think it's cute that you think that the justice system is being used as some sort of deterrent in the world that we live in. Like, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but the alternative is mob rule, right? And vigilante justice. And honestly, for a huge
Okay.
swath of people who aren't
But
able to access
that's what the
court,
convoy people want.
that's where we're at. And that's not, I would like to move away from that direction personally.
Well, I would like to
All right.
move towards that direction personally, actually. And it's funny because like there's two schools of thought here. You can be right or you can enjoy this, right? Like that's how I think. I'm like, Caryma's 100% right. Lachlan and I are 100% wrong. Mary Ann is just trying to figure it out. And she's like, I wouldn't mind watching them go to jail.
Mary Ann
and-
wants to borrow my flashlight. I
Yeah.
can see it in it. Deep down, she might not
He
be
wants to go
saying
to that
anything.
gravel pit.
Mary Ann's gonna beat someone with that enormous phallic mic. That's who's gonna. Don't go to Mary Ann's. But we're talking, in circles about really the same thing. Like if you commit a crime, right, you should be accountable for that crime. And you go back to mob rules. We have seen mob rule for the past 2 years.
Mhm.
You've been on a scooter watching it. Like you've been in and out of crowds, mobs of people who were never held accountable at all. And so now that we're trying to hold people accountable, I agree with you as much as I don't want to. This looks fucking terrible. However, he's not the only person. I don't know if you saw this. Well, of course you did because you retweeted it. Where you said not to stoke the flames of public discontent, but it's surprising to see Tamara Lich on social media giving her bail conditions. Catch me on the show at 4. Nice to see you. This is Theo Fleury who blocked me, so really grateful that Ryan was able to send me this copy.
Did he get stung by a bee?
Yeah, he looks like it, and his glasses
think
are
that's-
like all lopsided.
That's
he looks
just
like
from
shit.
It's just from all the stitches in his face, right?
Oh, is it? Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
He looks like a human Picasso now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's Theo Fleury, and Theo is just an enormous anti-vaxxer, crazy anti-vax religious extremist now. He's lost his fucking mind. But here he is with Tamara Lich. Tamara Lich, same order, not supposed to be on social media at all. Not at all. Not associating with anybody that's involved in this movement. None of those things. So same question, Caryma. Is that a breach of conditions? Because, again, I would like it to be.
I think that can, like most things, can be argued both ways. Obviously, she didn't post it on her own social media, and she may have taken a photograph not knowing how or where it would ultimately be disseminated. The prudent course of action would be to not be doing any selfies because you don't know where they might go. And obviously, Theo was known to be sort of prominent in this movement, right? But ultimately, does she have control over his account? Did she ask him to post that? Those are, unknowns, and might be the saving grace if this were ever to land before a judge. So could be, might not be, who knows? But sort of some of the same queries about the condition underlying, regardless.
I would be willing to bet my Subaru, which by the way still has the catalytic converter, that
We heard.
fucking they had a very similar conversation that we just had about that picture and about Theo potentially posting that picture. They were in that kitchen having this exact same conversation. Well, we can get away with it. I didn't really put it up myself, and I didn't know what you were going to do with it. And yeah, it's not necessarily a breach, and I think you should put it up. Garen fucking teed they had that combo.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe
The caption is pretty cautious, right? Like the caption doesn't really say anything. It's pretty neutral. Great to be in Medicine Hat today, speaking, getting to visit with Tamara Lich. She's an amazing person. Love her vibe. There's nothing objectionable to that.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's. I guess if we read the conditions, the conditions are like, hey, you can't fundraise and you can't be pro anything, and that's just one person being pro another person for whatever fucking reason, whether you agree with them or not, right? That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah,
Is it you can't go back and claw as much as we want to see Tamara Lich head back to the Huskow and go, when am I getting out? I would agree with you there. And part of me, because I'm working through this as we talk about it as well, part of me is, and a decent part of me, I'd say 30-70. I used to be like 100% go to jail, let's all watch. I put like an aquarium. Let's watch these people.
Where did
suffer.
this 30% creep in?
Just in the conversation.
that happens like 14
Wait,
minutes
what's the
after the
split?
hour.
So the 30, what's the 30 and what's the 70?
30 is now, hey, maybe we
Go to
shouldn't be
jail.
suppressing free
okay.
speech, and maybe these people should be allowed to carry on with their lives until, innocent till proven guilty. That bullshit. That old chestnut.
I like your capacity for growth, Dean.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate it. I work on it all the time. But it still doesn't change the fact that we have a fucking problem, right? Because they're still finding ways to circumvent what's going on. But it's amazing to me because they can't stop. Like every single one of these people can't stop, and to their detriment every fucking time, right? Like to his detriment, to Randy's detriment.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he has done has been to his detriment. He has put himself in this position, and to the position where he had to dole out $35K the other day. And if anybody, like my folks are retired, if I told my dad, hey, you're going to have to get out of jail for $35K if you do that, he'd be like, I guess I won't do it then, because he needs his money for retirement. So then they start this big grift, which is all it is, right? With no more lockdowns or raising money for Randy's legal defense. It's like it never fucking ends. It never ends until that person snaps. And I saw it this week. Did you guys see your favorite guy, my favorite guy, Jordan Peterson, with your favorite journalist, Caryma, Andy? No.
This is so
Is it? What? Can you give me Andy's background? Can you give me his like?
Yeah, he's a
situation?
fuck face.
He's an
Okay.
incel.
Yeah.
He's a right wing
far
provocateur.
How would you
Far
describe
right.
Caryma? You hate him more than everybody on this panel. How would you describe
Yeah,
Andy?
he's a far right sort of amplification tool. Sort of serving
Tool.
a double
Tool
meaning
indeed,
there.
yeah.
And yeah, like he tries to get people killed, really. Like
He's a provocateur.
Yeah,
Explain that.
that's-
Explain. How do you mean? What do you mean? Explain how he tries to get people killed.
by sort of using his audience to kind of target private citizens, journalists, disseminating their information so that people can go find them. I think he's targeted even Rob Gill. I think if Rob is still watching, and other sort of people I know just through activism, etc. So he's a really a dangerous guy, and really loves to play up this idea of Antifa and sort of the mob of the left, but in a disingenuous way. So he's a right wing grifter.
Yeah. And in way over his
piece
head.
of shit.
So total piece of shit. He came after
And he uses
me,
misinformation as well to stoke the fires, right?
No.
Like he's also the guy that was saying things like, Antifa was in the, I don't know. I don't know any specifics, so I should stay away from it. But I believe some of the stuff that was out there that was flaming the fires of division in the States did disseminate from him and his accounts and stuff like that. Right,
Yeah.
Caryma?
He's an alt-right piece of shit provocateur who does this for
Highly
money.
religious,
He doesn't
right?
do it, from my understanding. Yeah, he does it for money. And I was talking with a couple of guys like Chris Vickery down in the States and our friend Josh, who's actually goes by the name Hi-Fi. Can't say his last name. They're well aware of this guy, and these are right-fighting individuals, cyber individuals that are like, no, we're trying to take back the internet on behalf. Andy Ngo is a giant piece of garbage, who uses people in that alt-right community that are so fucked in the head to try and drive a narrative. Right, case in point. And again, this is fucking sad, but not really. Like if you have some empathy,
It's hard to watch.
Well, I love it.
What's also sad is Andy's kitchen behind
There goes
him.
the
You'd think
30%.
If you were a
Andy-
sellout, you'd have a nicer kitchen.
Yeah. You'd think if he was a sellout, he'd have nicer shit on his countertop. You're right.
I noticed he was broadcasting from his kitchen too. I'm glad you pointed that out because I was like, I noticed weird shit sometimes, but that was odd to me.
Yeah, Caryma's a big room raider, by the way, online. She's like, I just love raiding rooms. Oh, it's full of CDs. So anyway, we've got this video I want to play for you because not only is Andy Ngo in it, and he's a fucking garbage human. I want you to pay special attention to the alpha bro philosopher who's really just a very confused drug addict on his last legs. His name's Jordan Peterson. Okay, Jordan Peterson is one of those bros that all the loser bros out there go, that's my guy. If you're a Jordan Peterson guy, I want you to watch this and suck it up. He is gone.
I wanted to ask you about based on your knowledge, your background, your clinical experience, what is the psychology of this mob violence? When I see it, I don't even recognize some of these. They seem animalistic, is what I mean.
They're worse than animals. They're worse than animals because animals, they just kill to eat. Human beings, they have a twist in them that makes them far worse than animals when they really get going. Well, I think you really want to know what I think? I think it's revenge against God for the crime of being. That's really what I think. It's Cain and Cain and Abel. It's like, oh, Abel's your guy, eh? God, how about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death? How do you feel about that? All my sacrifices went unrewarded. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what it is at the bottom of the hell of things.
Ta-da!
Can I show you guys something?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick backstory. My ex was a big Jordan Peterson fan. This was all before. This was a few years ago. Okay, so this was a few years ago. I remember, and I kind of knew who he was, but this was before he totally was unhinged.
Yeah.
And I just went and found this. I realized I should probably burn it, but I just found this. He gave this to me.
Oh yeah.
He bought this for me.
Jordan
and it was
Peterson's
still on my bookshelf.
12 rules for life.
And I have. Right. So, I'm dating this guy. I'm trying to impress him. And, I have this. And so I only made it to page 76 out of, let's see, there's like 300 pages. So I didn't even make it a third of the way through.
Yeah.
Not even like a quarter of the way through. But I remember, all I remember about Jordan Peterson, watching videos. He'd send me videos and he would send me, and I was reading this book and some of it, I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. But then another part of me is like, I don't like his tone. I don't like where he's coming from. I don't agree with what he's. I don't know. So it's just interesting to see how far this.
Let me ask you just real quick. Let me ask you about this Jordan Peterson ex-boyfriend of yours. Oh, fuck.
Sure.
There you go.
Let me ask you. No, sorry, I had to adjust this thing. Yeah.
No problem. Let me guess. He was incredibly shy. Yes or no? Was he incredibly shy?
A bit socially awkward.
Oh, weird. It's socially awkward. Did he have a lot of friends? Yes or no? I'm going to say no. Probably not. No, he didn't have a lot of friends. Yeah, not a little.
Now this is more about me.
With his mother.
Is more about me than him.
We're all of a sudden we're getting really awkward here.
Now it's your intervention. How about
Christian?
that?
By any
Yeah.
chance,
The
Christian?
second that guy told you he was a big Jordan Peterson guy and he handed you to that fucking stupid book to read, you should have said, "Hey, listen, fuckface,
smack him
no
in the
thanks."
fucking head with
Yeah.
it.
I gotta
it was
be
my
honest.
Ignorance. If someone, sorry, Locke, but like if someone said this now, I'd be like, no. Like if that was on their dating profile, like no chance. Like now, but like it was again a few years ago. It wasn't the same. Like Caryma, you're nodding, but like it wasn't the same. He wasn't as off his
There
rocker
was a
back then. So
decline. Yeah, meaning that at some point it wasn't as.
It's been a rapid decline in the last year.
He was very smart.
Yeah, I'm kind of on Mary. Like I didn't really know where to put him. Like he was in a box for me because he was on like all these
Box of
podcasts.
idiocy.
Yeah, but I never really had a real problem with him until the last couple of years when and
Lost his shit.
Because I appreciate when people have a different perspective or they can work something out and get to some point creatively, right? Like, and we have guests like that all the time on the show that have me rethink how I thought Jordan Peterson was that guy. I didn't necessarily have to always agree with what he said, but he had such a interesting perspective and a way to get to a point back in the day when I listened to him when he was clearer. And I would go, okay, oh, that's interesting. That gives me a better understanding of why I'm on the path that I am on right now. But there's something going on there.
Dude,
he's
lost. It's like got to be
experimenting
benzos. It's got to be fucking drugs. Like you
again.
see his face, how skinny he looks. I know Caryma's got a jet. She's got to head to a real business call because this is not her job.
Caryma,
I wish
but
it
listen,
was.
Caryma,
One
thank
day,
you.
I hope. But
Yes, so do we. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Caryma. Appreciate
Bye,
it.
guys.
bye.
See you.
Caryma.
At Caryma Rules on Twitter is where you can find her. Thanks for breaking that stuff down. Back to Jordan Peterson. So listen,
She's a rock star, Caryma.
yeah, she's
Can I-
awesome. She's
Can
incredible.
I just throw a really quick nugget
for sure.
of advice to anybody watching that just happens to even still like cling on to like any sort of shred of like fallen gray hair from Jordan Peterson? Anybody that writes a book that says the 12 steps of whatever, then goes off on a bender and then comes back out and decides to write another book about the same thing. The first one didn't work. Don't buy the second one. Don't buy the second book because the first one obviously didn't work and you're not. And people like somebody in the comments said, oh, he's drinking his own bathwater. If that was the case, and he would have never ended up hooked on painkillers in a Russian fucking hospital.
Do you want to know what
in a
rule?
coma.
What's that,
Marianne?
Do you want to know what rule number 12 is?
Yeah, I do.
It's pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. I don't know what that means because I didn't get that to that chapter. I'm sure it means something deep.
That's why Donald Trump loves him.
You know what though? I will say this, and I think I made this comment before we went live. I'm grateful for a number of things. One, I'm grateful for the fact that because I had the potential. I didn't go down a path of hard drugs.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of friends that did, and I've seen the results, and it's not pretty. And there's degrees of it, but I've seen a lot of people in my life. I'm 52 now. I've seen some struggles that I never had to worry about in my life. Hey, hold on, I got shit I got to work on, and I'm not fucking perfect. But I've seen people that have gone down a path of chemicals, as opposed to alcoholism, which is much better. Everybody, and they're struggling mentally. And the other thing that I would say is that you are way better off in life if you're a dumb guy. And I'm in that fucking canoe and paddling happily on the river of life that I am on right now.
See, I don't think you're dumb. That's the thing. Is it like
No, you're not dumb.
No, you're not dumb at all. You're not. You just don't hyperventilate over.
I'll give you the number in the DM.
I get what you say. I get what you're saying. It's burdensome
too smart
when you're looking at things from a lens of more objectivity than you are of staying blind for convenience. And
I have a question.
And for protectionism.
I have a question, and let's go around the horn. We'll start with Marianne. He wasn't like this. You said 4 years ago when you were dating his son-in-law.
Oh, it's 5:26, by the way.
5:26. Thank you. Yeah, we have 2 here.
12 degrees downtown Toronto.
radio time checks here. Yeah, 6 degrees, by the way. You forgot to put that in. Time temperature. You got to get it. Surveillance. That's what it's called. But so 4 years ago, you're dating this Jordan, this Peterson bro.
A couple years ago, yeah.
A couple years ago, and you know, we just nailed him like as a character assassination bit. We just told you exactly what he was probably like, and you're like, yeah, that's probably him. That's Jordan Peterson. Like, he's like the Rush. You know how Rush the band caters to super geeks in their 50s and 60s, like guys that just felt like they were on the outside looking in, guys who felt like they never got it. Jordan Peterson has always been that guy, and he's always written about and appealed to that person, right? He's always appealed to the dude that's like, why do I not feel masculine? Why do I feel emasculated? Why do I feel like I'm not important in society? Shouldn't me as a man be one of these men that feels really important as a man? And so that's really what Jordan's been driving away at. And he's been trying to skirt the issue. And the issue is, my understanding, Ryan, and I could be wrong, but the issue is that over the past few years, he has genuinely embraced Orthodox Christianity.
Yeah.
Over the past few years, he has not only embraced Orthodox Christianity as a belief system, he also has, I believe, dealt with the wasn't terminal, but at the time he thought it was, wife's cancer diagnosis. So, you know, he had that he was dealing with. And then he developed this addiction in there to benzos to the point where he was non-functional a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And to cure that addiction, his choice, keep in mind, this is a guy who drives the hearts and minds of the incel community. Okay? This is the guy. This is Mr. Incel. He's like, he was
interviewed by the king of incels.
Yes, wow. He is. He is, dude. I'm telling you, he absolutely is.
Did he openly sign up for it, or did he just get pulled in by that group?
I just said it because
I think
every incel I know thinks he's their hero.
I think you're
Marianne.
Right.
Sorry, hang on one second. Marianne wanted to say something.
Can I share a bit of a personal story about one of like the ways he kind of rubbed off on? Well, Jordan rubbed off on.
Yeah, do you want some personal story music for it? I can do that. Go ahead. Some Jordan Peterson.
It's more sad. It's more sad than this. It's actually.
I like it. All right, go ahead.
Pretty personal.
Yeah.
It's pretty personal. I remember he'd been reading Jordan Peterson for a while, and sometimes he would quote him, and I remember I think it was like just the start of COVID, and like I'm wearing a little bit of makeup. And I did my hair today. You know, I'm on the show. You know, I want to feel pretty good, but generally I don't really wear a lot of makeup. I don't, you know, I'm pretty like try to go pretty natural. I don't dye my hair. And I remember, and like that's the way I am, and I want to be the love for who I am. And I remember, and sometimes, you know, you want to get hot and get pretty for someone, but like I remember he said, why don't you wear makeup for me? Why don't you do your hair more often? Why don't you? And I remember that, I know maybe the music doesn't match, but I remember him saying this stuff to me, and it like directly, I think, was linked to stuff from Jordan Peterson. And that clearly still, you know, as I'm talking about it, it still like, you know, brings up some emotions, right?
Yeah.
And it was the Alpha Bro stuff. And clearly still affects me a little bit a couple years later, right? So, and I think that's a direct tie to Jordan Peterson and those messages. It's not like, I don't know. I would love your opinions on that, but like
my professional opinion is your ex-boyfriend was a dumb cunt.
That's pretty.
I don't know if that is a clinical term, but I think
guys,
it might
tell
apply
girls
here.
how to look. Fuck off. Sorry, go ahead.
The thing for me is, have you guys known real searchers? Like people that they need something. They need a book. They need a Jordan Peterson. They need
religion,
a philosophy. They need a religion. I've known a couple of They need a club. They need to feel part of something. Yeah. Yes, and I think that
like
that might be.
People.
Yeah, that might be a bit of what Jordan Peterson is. He's a searcher.
Isn't that all of these cats though? Like, isn't everybody a bit of a Jordan Peterson that's involved in this fucking movement? Because he was, again, we go back 4 years ago when he was just an idea guy that lived on the edge of misogyny and philosophy, right? Like 4 years ago, that's kind of the deal with him. Now he's lost his fucking marbles. Like, absolutely, he's crying, talking to Andy No, that and trying to tell, dude, that's what this clip is. I'll play it for you again. And it's all about the pandemic. Like if you followed Jordan Peterson and if you saw some of the bullshit that he was putting out after he got out of that Russian meat-eating benzo hospital or whatever the fuck he was in, like he was on like 10 pounds of salt diet a day. He was like
he did some totally weird diet to get off the benzos.
Salt
and
meat.
he fucked his liver right up. That's why he went into a coma.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, it's not easy to get off those things.
Benzos? No, it's not. My son was addicted to them, and it almost took him. So I'm going to play this for you again. I want you to watch. These two fucking idiots are talking about Antifa being animals. Now, Antifa doesn't even exist. So there's that. Doesn't even really exist. You got some fucking wacky hippies running around going, fuck everything and accept everything. That's all Antifa is. It's like an idea. And he cries because he feels like Antifa has been sent to this planet to ruin Christians because they hate God. Like, it's the most fucked thing. Watch it again. And he cries. He's like fucking crying. Look at this guy.
Based on your knowledge, your background, your clinical experience, what is the psychology of this mob violence? When I see it, I don't even recognize some of these. They seem animalistic, is what I mean.
They're worse than animals. They're worse than animals because animals, they just kill to eat. You know, human beings, they have a twist in them that makes them far worse than animals when they really get going. Well, I think you really want to know what I think? I think it's revenge against God for the crime of being.
Ugh.
That's really what I think. It's Cain and Abel. It's like, Abel's your guy, eh, God? How about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death? How do you feel about that? All my sacrifices went unrewarded. Yeah, it's like, that's what it is at the bottom of the hell of things.
Right on. That guy up until last year was teaching young minds at the University of Toronto.
Yeah, a tenured professor.
Anyway, that's Jordan Peterson. And I'm sorry you dated one of his disciples, Marianne. That's sad news right there. Super sad.
I kind of wonder what he's like now. I wonder if he still believes.
Oh, you should send him a Sam Harris book.
Yeah. Send him a Sam Harris book.
With instructions on how to open it.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking wild. I don't even know how someone can believe a word that guy says. Like, I really tried because James, who we've had on the podcast, he's the host of Blackball, the podcast here at DeanBlundell.com. He was a pretty big Jordan Peterson guy. And you're like, yeah, cool. That makes sense. You're a Jordan Peterson guy. I get your convictions. You probably said. So he tweets this morning. He's like, I used to think this guy's fucked in the head. Like, I had no idea how fucked in the head this guy was until today. And you're seeing that. A lot of JPP fans are going, that's too much for me. I get the clean room stuff, the petting cat stuff. Look at Marianne's leafing through it right now, just looking at kind of some misogynist nuggets to run her life by. But it's like, it's just hard. It's hard for me to not.
It's kind of sad.
Well, and it's sad, I guess, but it's hard for me not to fucking look at that and go, well, that is a man, in my mind, who was left to his own devices, who had an incredible amount of entitlement and puts himself at the fucking center of every single one of his stories. Every single one. And if you understand anything about philosophy, I'll tell you something about it. Is the whole idea is this is about the inner portions and inner workings of you. It's got nothing to do with making you the star of the show. So not only is he the star of the show, every single time he talks now, he's the star of a crazy show. He's a star of like a totally emotionally and mentally detached show. And you've got fucking bros out there going, you don't know anything. Jordan Peterson's a great guy. He just started crying because Cain killed Abel with the leg of a table 8,000 years ago because that's what it said in the Bible. Legitimately. That guy's teaching people. Suck on that today. Suck on that.
I thought he was removed.
Oh, he was. Yeah, no,
he's not teaching anymore.
No. Dude, his podcast, he's got like 200,000 subscribers for his podcast. Like he literally owns the minds of young, impressionable incel douchebags.
I think it's honestly mostly men. I don't really know many female, like maybe I'm wrong.
There's no,
but I don't know.
Would be following.
I don't know a lot of females that
again it's somebody that was martyred, and their martyrdom explodes their fame with the extremists that agree with them. That's all it is. It's the same thing that we see across the board with Randy, with Tamara.
But I also don't think, Ryan. I also don't think Jordan Peterson had the mental capacity to deal with the backlash that he got as well. And so I think he, as a searcher, as a guy that's constantly looking for answers, that can't read enough books, right? The reason why he was staying up on benzos is because he felt this need, this overwhelming desire to read more and consume more. And I think what ends up happening is
the Bible. That's all he had. He must have been in a hotel.
No,
the only book there
dude,
was a Bible.
He was reading constantly to find answers, and when he didn't find them, I think he gravitated towards the Bible. And I think maybe he was at a point where, it's psychosis, and I think that's what we're watching right now. We're watching this guy's dismantling in front of us, and it's sad because I think, to Dean's point, I think you're gonna have people, like James. We all know James. James sees this interview and goes, all right, maybe I should back away from my thoughts about Jordan Peterson, but there will be some that will go, no, he's on the right
stay
path.
The course. Yeah, it's all about Jesus. He's right. Yeah. It's about Cain and Abel and all the other shit that he said, which is like, if you understand anything about Christianity and the origins of Christianity, in the first four or five books of the Bible called the Pentateuch, Genesis is the first book of the Bible, and it gets into the Adam and Eve shit and Cain killing Abel with a piece of wood and 2 kids and the eating of the apple and shit like that. It's all bullshit. Like, it's all crazy. It's all crazy. Like, same thing with the Noah's Ark shit that I make fun of all the time. I was talking to my son in the car. He's like, Dad, how do people...
700-year-old man didn't build a boat?
No, weird. I know. 700-year-old man did not build a boat 2 football fields long with a hammer made out of a banana. It did not happen. I'm just letting you know. But that guy,
my night.
This is the crazy. Exactly. That guy who everybody believes, like everybody literally believes this guy's right. He believes that Noah built an ark with a banana hammer.
Is it actually banana? I don't remember that in Bible school.
Remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sure.
He believes.
Does it fucking matter?
It doesn't matter what the hammer is. I didn't go to Bible school.
Was it a banana?
What was the tool that Noah used? I didn't go to Bible school. No, I was just making fun
bullshit.
Of the banana hammer.
It was a 9/16 bullshit is what he used.
I don't remember it being a banana.
No one remembers it because it's all bullshit. Same thing with like Jonah and the whale. They're like, here's a true story, kids. They teach us in Sunday school. Jonah got swallowed by a whale, and then they puked him up. Like the whale puked it up like 5 days later in front of his family. They were having a picnic. What a wonderful day that was! Like, seriously,
left a horrible TripAdvisor review too.
Awful.
So glad I wasn't religious.
Jordan Peterson believes that. And
I want to go back to the banana.
The banana hammer, you could use it for all kinds of stuff, can't we? Not just using it to pound things in. You could use it for other things. Yeah, I get what we're talking about. But my point is this. That guy is an academic. He passes himself off as an academic, and he believes that Noah's Ark was a real fucking thing. So put that in your pipe and smoke it if you're a Jordan Peterson fan. Not only has he lost his fucking mind because of years of drug abuse and some kind of weird meat Russian salt diet, he has literally reverted into this weird ultra-Christian, incel, orthodox fuckstick. So if you're a Jordan Peterson guy, remember that today.
Again, not necessarily a technical explanation for what he is, but
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Especially you, Dean, because this will actually be interesting. When you look at somebody that is an academic, like a Jordan Peterson, minus the fucking crazy and the psychosis, like when he was an actual professor before he lost his mind, if he was religious, would you take him seriously as an academic?
No.
Can you take him seriously as an academic being religious? Like
the answer is absolutely not.
Not spiritually, just like if he had an organized religion that he subscribed to.
No.
Okay. I just didn't want to
an academic
let him not on that island alone because I can't do it.
No, if you are, and I believe this, if you believe in any religious zealousy at all, if you believe it to be true, specifically evangelical Christianity, if you believe it and you have an education, you are still not an academic because that education is academic. everything you learned is academic because you put all your faith for the rest of your life and your eternity, the salvation, like your afterlife. You think fucking the afterlife's a timeshare? It's not. You fucking die and go in the dirt like everybody else, and then you turn into worms. That's all we do. And because they believe that Fugazi bullshit, they don't give a fuck about what happens here, which is why guys like Jordan Peterson act like total assholes all the time because they fucking hate it here. It's super simple to understand if you apply it.
They put so much investment into that afterlife that it's here doesn't matter to them.
No,
it's there, and anybody that is even acclaimed by schools, universities, whatever, I can't see how they can be taken to that point. Like, they could be brilliant in math, they could be brilliant in chemistry, physics, they could be brilliant, but it's the critical thought that I get stumped at. How are you? How can you be a critical thinker?
I have an exception to the rule. I understand what you're saying. I think for me, where I would give somebody a pass is, again, and I've known some searchers. I've known some people that need some sort of explanation. They need to find some reason why we're here, why they're here, their place in it all. And I've known a couple of people that are fascinated by religion, but not buying into religion as a whole, or one specific to, some doctrine to live their life by, but an analysis of religion as a whole and how
that would be me as well. I'm the same way. I'm fascinated by why these people live and breathe the way they do.
And they study religion, Ryan. They study it, and they know Buddhism. They know, and again, I think there's a lot of people out there that are like that might end up.
That's like a post-mortem. Like, they're looking at it from the outside as an observer. They're not a participant, and that's fine. I'm totally if somebody that is a academic in religious study. Absolutely. But if they're an academic who happens to go to a evangelical, Pentecost, whatever church every Sunday and believe in 700-year-old men with banana hammers, I think they're a bit banana hammers. And I don't understand how we can put a whole lot of merit into not their technical smarts, but their actual critical thought. Like, how do you put fucking pants on in the morning?
I always try to separate religion and faith, because I've made very, very harsh comments about religion, and I'm very anti-religion, but I appreciate anybody that finds something that gets them up every day. Mm-hmm. So if you have a faith and you need that faith, then that's up to you. And if it's
faith in yourself is what you should.
It's part of who. Well, and you and I are wired very similarly, Ryan. I believe that you should believe in yourself, but there are people out there that need something bigger than that. They need something bigger than themselves, and I don't like to discredit what they've chosen as a belief structure. Like, I've done it. I've done it with things in my life. I've used things around me to help me navigate the world that we live in. It's just not necessarily
did you
labeled
consciously
as
know,
religious.
Did you consciously know that you were fooling yourself? Did you consciously know that?
But hold it. This is the thing.
I don't have
those people
or any.
A lot of people that believe in religion don't believe that they truly believe it because they believe in some of the lessons in it. We're talking about two different kinds of religious people too here, right? We're talking about like, we get our boy Ray Rout, who does our NFL stuff for us here, Dear Pats Nation podcast guy, wonderful human being. He's a Christian dude, and he's one of those dudes you're like, yeah, that's how you got to live if you believe in religion. It's yours. You don't shove it on people. You don't weaponize it. But my point is this: is that's pure weaponization of religion, because that guy is backed into a corner because he's so fucked in the head. He doesn't know how to open a box. Like, he has no idea how. He probably just gets a delivery and looks at it and goes, I don't know what to do with this now, because he's so fucked up by the will of God and this magic bullshit that he legitimately believes, right? And so there's the extremist portion of it. People can believe in religion. In my estimation, anybody can believe in religion. I come from a very religious family. I fucking turned my back on all of it. And now my family do their absolutely. My brother's a reverend. He's a loving individual that doesn't act like Jordan Peterson. Yeah. Do I consider my brother an academic? I do. because he believes in this for him, but also knows that this is not the only religion or only path or philosophy you have to make yourself happy, and he doesn't shove it down people's throats like this dumb
Your
fuck
brother
is doing
also
full of
gets
benzos.
up every day and tries to do something good for
someone else,
for other
somebody
people.
else.
Yeah.
This is all for him.
And
what about you,
that-
Marianne?
and-
Are you religious?
I was just going to actually interject.
Christian,
Locke,
born again.
Locke, I actually agree
I'm
with
Hindu.
you. I'm backing you up on this. I'm not. I grew up in a Presbyterian household, and over time, I like my dad still goes to church, and I do believe that there can be both. I do believe that you can be an academic, and I feel like you can be smart. Although I don't believe in God, I do believe in there being a connectedness, and us all being connected, and that's more like the nature hippie part of me, right? But I do.
That's spiritual. It's nice.
More spiritual, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe that if someone is religious because if someone's religious and leads a life that they're serving others, if they're religious in a way that they find community and that they find love and find purpose, then I'm very pro that. I'm very pro people finding, I guess for the greater humanity. So, Locke, I do back you up on that.
Well, the other issue I have with religion is, and again,
Good point. Good
Dean,
point. Well said.
Dean, very well said, Marianne. Thank you. I think Dean made a comment that a lot of people use it and weaponize it, and I find my issue with religion is the judgment angle. This is how I live my life. These are the rules that I believe in, and this is how I've conducted myself. And if you don't do it, Lachlan, you're going to hell. That's the shit that drives me fucking crazy about religion. That somebody uses it as a judgment tool, and they've somehow put themselves up on a pedestal, and they've somehow decided that because they believe in this thing, that makes them better than me, and that's why I avoided it.
That's how the MLM has worked for centuries. That's how this Ponzi scheme has gone.
Yeah,
it's guilt, and
FOMO.
it's put into your children's heads, and then they put it into their children's heads.
Yeah,
and it's all it's a continuous fucking cycle that. Luckily now, and as much as we hate the internet is pretty responsible for a lot of the stray away from organized religion now. But is it going in the right direction? That's the question. Like, are we
just creating?
Are we
more...
throwing gasoline on the fire to put the fire out? And I think it's a delicate balance.
Well, one of those things that I because I love piling on. Did you notice that? Have you guys noticed that about Marianne? I don't know you that well.
I like grabbing your feet.
We've seen signs of it.
Yeah.
It shows up every once in a while.
549.
Thank you. Yeah, 7 degrees. I love piling on. And so here's the thing, is that to understand what you're saying, Locke, the weaponization of religion, which is what Jordan Peterson's doing, which is by and large what every single fuckface that was at the convoy was doing, which is weaponizing their strange as fuck belief system in a magical community out of a book written in 1611, right? Is that the correct date? 1611. That's when the Bible was written. The King James version.
1618. Yeah, the King James edited.
I thought it was 1962, but
no. It's 550, by the way. Anyway,
that's Hubbard's phrase that pays at the top of the hour.
That's right. It's 1611. This fucking book was written in. These people have absolutely given away their entire reputation. They've given away their friends. They've given away their families because they've opted for a magic religion. They've opted for some magic in the afterlife. The idea that, hey, I'm never going to die. Do you know how fucking crazy that is? Do you know how crazy that is? I'll tell you how crazy it is. It is so crazy that it has made every single one of those people crazy enough to legitimately go to Ottawa, tell Marianne to get out of her fucking condo, honk a horn for 3 solid weeks, trying to hang the prime minister and get rid of a duly elected government in favor of a theocratic government, which all of these people, including that dumb fuck Randy Hillier, were there for. Every single one of them. Jordan Peterson was a huge fan of the convoy.
Was
I don't
he?
know if you followed him.
Yeah,
I didn't
The
oh,
guy
yeah.
was
He
like,
was on Rogan talking about it and everything. right?
oh, he went off. Convoy's the best. You're allowed to do what you want. This is about God. This is not about people. Like, that religion makes people militantly insane. Absolutely militantly insane. And do you know what that's called? It is called a cult where I come from. There's a money factor there, 10%. Everything you give to the Christian church has to go to the Christian church. It has to. That's part of the rule. It says it in the Bible to guilt you into you're not a good Christian and you're not a believer and you're not going to heaven unless you give us
call it tithing.
10%. Tithing is the exact word,
Tithing,
correct?
yeah.
10% of everything you fucking make, right? This guy believes it. And you've got hundreds of thousands of people out there going, that's my guy. That's my guy. That's who I get brain food from. That guy that believes if you join the church, you'll go to heaven and everyone else is going to hell. Do you know how fucking stupid you have to be to believe that? So when someone says, are you an academic if you're a religious zealot? My answer is in the proof. The answer is absolutely not. You're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot who conveniently read some text, wrote a couple tests. They gave you a fucking degree. You are not an academic. Jordan Peterson's not a philosopher. He is a piece of human shit who should be taken out of the circulation and the environment of conversations because he can't actually put it together. And everything he said is meant to hurt other people because he feels hurt himself. That's why he operates. That's why he works.
It brings it right back to Theo Fleury. Fleury's the same way, like, and it's a mental disconnect, and it's empowered by a sense of entitlement because of his position and his quasi celebrity status now, and he's using it to his advantage. He knows exactly what he's doing. I'm tired of people always using the mental illness, like, and not other people, but them themselves, because they know Fleury's the worst at it too. He will use it as a shield and call you a bully the minute, because he thinks facts are bullying. Like, actually, like,
he'll call you pedophile. He'll just call you a pedophile.
He'll say you were a bully.
Well, he's mentally ill. Peterson's mentally ill. You know what? And I think we just went through 2 years of a lot of people didn't come out of this last 2 years well. Like, they didn't handle what happened.
Jordan is a casualty. He was a casualty of himself before.
I think Theo is too.
Now he's a casualty of this.
Theo's a Trump casualty. Theo's a Trump
also casualty of
we have people in our own lives, guys. Every single one of us probably can think about or name somebody that has not not dealt with what we went through well. And I think Ryan made a comment, and we can almost use it as a pivot point. But listen, find what you need. Hang your hat if you need something. Hang your hat on something, and use it to pull yourself out of whatever you're in the middle of. But if it's got to start with believing in yourself. It really does.
Well, that's why people choose religion, is because they don't. Right? They don't. They need a roadmap. It's almost like it's legitimately almost like one of these where it's like, I can't figure out how to be happy or what to do with my life, and I don't have any values or principles or virtues, and I have no idea where to start. So they go get a handbook. It's called religion. Just do this, and then give us 10%. You'll be fine. Yeah. That's legitimately, it's like a workbook for your life that is centered in bullshit. That's all.
But then be okay. Sad. But then be okay if somebody else has an opposing opinion to you, right? And doesn't believe in the same things that you believe in, right? Like, that's
they don't. They don't, because they're willing to die for it. So of course they're gonna fucking do whatever they can. Like, they're willing to embarrass themselves for it. They're willing to do what Jordan's doing. So of course they don't. Like, case in point, embarrassment. Marianne, when did you send this to me? This is totally real, by the way. This video.
I sent it to you. It's not. It's a joke.
Real. No, it's real.
It's 100% a joke. You guys will see in a second. I sent it to you maybe yesterday or a couple days ago.
Yeah. This is a pastor. Have you guys ever been to church?
I think it's like an artist
I've been
maybe a religious. Yeah.
My math teacher died in high school, and I had to go to church.
Okay,
I got stuck in a Catholic church out of Catholic guilt from my grandmother. My brother got to go to public school, and I'm 10 years later.
We're narrowing in on the bitterness.
Oh, you're fucking right. You are. I got stories, boys.
So this is a classic. Like, this guy's a pastor. He recorded this video, and this is what happens at like youth group sing-alongs, like where you sing to music, and you confess to all the terrible things that you did. It's like a singing testimonial. It's what they call. I've been to thousands of these as a kid. Like literally thousands, where one guy gets up there with his guitar and he starts singing about all the terrible things he did wrong. And it's like a confessional, in Catholic church where you go in to talk to a priest, but this guy's singing about it. This is real. Watch this. This is true. It's real.
You still love me, Lord, even in my darkest moments. When I was in all the wrong places with all the wrong people.
Listen to this. Listen to the laundry list.
Thank you at the drive-thru. When I stole a DVD of Shrek 2. When I committed tax fraud. My brother went to prison even though it was me. When I pushed that old lady down a hill for no reason. When I told my friend his dog went missing, but I ran it over. You still love me.
That's funny.
Dean, it's a joke. Dean, it's like a joke.
No, it was
That's
real.
real.
That
was real.
That was definitely real. 100%.
What? He presented it like
They even
as
looked
it's a
alike.
joke, and he's making fun of them.
No.
That's real. That's real. That's a real Jesus freak.
But you
from
guys don't understand TikTok or the internet because
You're right.
he clearly like
we don't understand the internet.
no, because he created this video and then the guys are awkward, which are also him, and he made this video and it's supposed to be funny. Like it's supposed to be funny. It's not real.
I'm still pissed off. He ran over that dog.
It was
I am
ironically
too.
funny because of they all looked the same, but
It was him in each one. That's the miracle of TV. Almost as good. I don't know if you remember this lady from yesterday. Do you remember this lady, guys? Do you remember this?
I watched.
Home drunk from school, laying up with men, out there prostituting, having oral sex with my mouth, licking his balls.
Licking his balls. Oh my god!
So, is that real?
Yeah,
like, I know
That's real.
I know Marianne's video is real, but is that real?
That video wasn't real. That was a joke.
Yeah. That was real.
That one
they
was
were
real.
both real. Yeah.
My favorite part of that is
Not real.
the clarification on how she performed oral sex. It was with her mouth. I'm glad she cleared that up because I wasn't sure how oral sex worked until she told me.
Yeah, me neither.
Home drunk from school, laying up with men, out there prostituting, having oral sex with my mouth.
Oh, she says oral sex. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, licking his balls.
Anyway,
God damn it!
Wow.
She just
Confessions are
walks
good.
away.
Yeah. The pastor's like, I don't know if we can talk about you licking guys' balls.
Do you know how hard it was to clip yesterday's show?
Really tough.
It's tears.
Because Dean played that 14 times.
Marianne, why are you moving away?
Licking his balls.
Fucking away.
I couldn't stop playing it. I got off the show yesterday and I still had all the assets up here. I watched it 40 times in a row. I'm like, this is too good. I can't help it. It's unbelievable.
Look at where are you going?
Oh, hold on. You didn't.
Yeah, I wanna see
That's
the rest
the
of it.
best part.
I want to see the rest.
Roll the whole thing. Does he walk away?
Licking his balls.
Keep playing it. Keep playing it.
Okay, look at this. He goes up and gives the microphone to the lady. Listen to what she says.
Amen.
Amen. Love it. I like this.
Amen.
It's
I had a
great.
problem
That's the best
prostituting
part of the
guys with
video.
my
How
mouth
can you- how
and
can you
licking
not
guys'
play that-
balls.
The
She's
amen
like,
part.
Amen.
That's how you end the prayer. In the name of the
Amen.
Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, licking his balls.
Amen.
balls.
Amen. Yeah.
Amen. That was fucking great.
Anyway, nice little thing to end off on. Marianne, thanks for doing this today. Great to see you. Sorry about all the testicle talk at the end. It probably wasn't
left.
Oh,
Wade requested the relative humidity. It's 80%.
Yeah, if you stick around at the top of the hour, we're gonna have
Oh, it's 60%
chance
6
of
o'clock,
flurries
everyone.
mixed with rain
it's
overlay.
6 o'clock. We're at the top of the hour now. News, weather, and sports are coming up.
Yeah.
You're pretty
no
good
one
at
does.
that, Ryan.
He wanted to be a radio guy.
I
so
wasn't
He
gonna be
could
a
have
radio.
been.
Mhm.
And then,
You would've
and
been
So
then
much potential. So much potential
what?
lost.
And it was because of assholes that are above you that I wanted to get into radio. Guys like him, guys like Jesse Dillon, Gene Velitis, those guys, they were like heroes to me when I was younger. So I started down that path, and I met somebody in radio that said, "Don't fucking do it." You know who it was, Dean? You might actually know him. You remember Tom Allen?
No.
It used to be Energy 108 or whatever here in
No idea.
Burlington, CING FM.
Nope.
Yeah, Tom Allen was the morning guy.
Never heard of it.
Super great dude.
Good dude.
We had
Just keep naming call letters.
And he was he was very CING FM Energy.
Oh, he's one of those guys that did the big radio voice.
You know, he was the morning guy at Energy back then. Now it's a country station, I think. But
They're all country stations now.
We had a
but he
student come to the radio station, and I don't know why they were. I won't say who, but they brought the student in and let the student stay with somebody in our building, and that person proceeded to spend about 45 minutes just berating this kid for why he would get into this fucking business. Right? Like they brought him in to sit down. Yeah, but you don't do that. They brought him in, he sits down, and then he just like turns on, this is a and this poor kid just left and I think went and quit radio school. Hey kid, listen, the problem is that this is a dream of a lot of people's. And it's still, I'm still no regrets for the path that I've been on. I get up every morning, I bounce out of bed every morning, excited to go do my job. I love it. And if you have somebody, and I got told by somebody when I was starting out that it was a dumb idea, and I ignored them and I went and got into it and I did it and I have no regrets.
But you were still in the heyday, weren't you? Like back in that, like that was still the good times, like before the corporate.
Dude, there was a lot of people that were like, there was a lot of people that were telling me that this was a dumb idea. Like, yeah. And I don't necessarily, I believe in encouraging people. I believe in, you know, if they've decided that they want to do something, and let them go. Like some people need that in their lives. My daughter is a dancer. She's never going to make any money. We're still supporting her and will probably be for years. And every time I talk to that girl, it's like, you go get it. She was on an audition for a company in Israel. We had to fly her from Hungary to Denmark to Amsterdam on the weekend. And I sent her a note. We talked to her on Saturday. You go kick ass, girl. Go do it. And we're flying her to Germany for another audition for another company. And you know what? That's what you got to do with young people.
Okay, so
stoke the fires. That guy was an asshole.
I hate to be that. I hate to be this fucking guy. But what happens if you and Deb are driving down the fucking highway next weekend and that's it? Something happens, you're both gone. What happens to her? You know what I mean? Like,
dude, you just told Locke he's gonna die next week.
No, I'm asking. It's a situational. Like, I understand the encouragement into.
My daughter has a passion for it. She was gonna do it, and we stoked that fire, and we gave her every opportunity to do it. And I think there's. I don't have.
You're right. I shouldn't live in a what if. You're right. Actually, I think you're onto something there. I think this is where my negativity kind of boils over, but then thankfully I can.
You know how few people, Ryan. You know how many few people.
I'm just trying to be positive now. Okay, I'm trying to walk this back, you asshole.
What if you guys die next week?
Don't die, Locke. Listen, don't drive anywhere next weekend, Locke, because I don't want to feel guilty about this. But
what if he does die next week? Holy shit!
Not only that, he killed my wife off too.
Yeah, way to
go. In a fucking car accident.
Yeah, it's true.
What if you get smoked by a semi
convoy
and your blood and guts and brains are spread all over the highway? What is she gonna do now?
Then what?
Then what?
Then what is she gonna do?
I guess it's not your fucking problem then, is it?
Well, good luck, Bluebirds.
I'm gone. Fuck. You're welcome, Locke. You're welcome.
Call your sister.
What if you fucking died, Locke? You know how I love how he did it to Marianne? He's like this, guys, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news.
Let's just take a different angle for
if you no longer live.
What if you
she's
ceased
really going to
existing?
regret not becoming a kindergarten teacher?
You
When
know,
your blood and guts are spread all over fucking Highway 2.
What
I
if
flying
you
home from
fucking get
Israel?
run over on the Yellowhead and die?
Or what's the other one that out there? The white mud. What
The
if you're
white
driving down the white
Well, if
mud?
I die on any road, it's going to be the white mud. I drive like a dick on that road.
That's gonna be my excuse for everyone. Be like, but what if you die? If anyone tells me anything.
Oh, you know what
Exciting.
though? Oh, you know what though? We'll have Marianne
I'll
read
do
the
that one.
Daddies that
Yeah,
day.
when
She-
What's
you're
he-
out for
what
dinner
is
with
that?
your friends, when
You
you're out for
could
dinner
look
with your
these-
friends, you go like this. Hey, you should probably pay because what if you
Oh, the Daddies.
died? What
yeah,
if you
and
died?
when it happens, we'll have Marianne read the obituary on the air.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Remember she used to do that?
Oh yeah, the Daddies. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh,
All right,
man.
that's it for us. Have a great day. It was a fucking
Leave
great
it on a
laugh to end the
positive
show.
note, everybody.
Yeah, we did. Marianne Ivison, the host of the Let's Take It Out, Let's Take This Outside
Thank you.
podcast, number 3 wilderness podcast in the entire country.
It's a good one.
It's a huge podcast. Go get it if you're an outdoors woman or man, or if you love to learn about nature and you love to be challenged and you're into the value that you get and the healing nature of nature.
not Ryan.
No,
Not
fuck
not
no.
Ryan. Yeah,
Fuck
he's out.
nature. Let me tell you why.
Why?
You remember my fence?
Yeah,
Did you see the wind out there today?
yeah.
The
Came
rest
down
of
again.
my fence is gone now.
Oh, there we go. Fuck nature. Then never mind. But
Whatever.
listen to
Fuck
Marianne's
outside.
podcast.
What
if
if
you
your
get a chance.
fucking
It's really
fence
good.
blows down?
How about we take this back inside? That's my new podcast.
Yeah,
What
you
if my
should.
Why don't we go
fence
back
died?
inside?
My fence is dead.
What if my fence falls down again?
But download, subscribe to the podcast. Let's take this outside. At MA on the air is where you can follow her on Twitter. Thank you very much for doing
Old
this.
Clint
Marianne.
has an interesting question.
Which
What's
Clint?
the question?
Where's that?
Show tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah.
that is a good question.
Yeah, show tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, Friday?
Okay.
Yeah.
It is.
Does everybody want to know why I wasn't around the last 2 Fridays? Do you guys want to know why I
We
wasn't
had some
around the last
theories.
2
We've actually put articles up about it.
I was having warts burnt off of my asshole.
I should have left like 5
Dean.
minutes ago. I should have left.
That's not true.
Dean, that's
I should have left.
I know
That's
it's your
better than
ex-wife,
you
but
cross-dressing.
Let's be
Gotta leave.
easy.
Can I just
here.
leave myself?
Yeah. See you, Marianne. Great to see you again.
Before you
I
leave,
don't
though,
know
what
how to
color's
leave,
her
how to-
sweater?
I'll
Dean?
let you leave. I'll get you. See you, Marianne. Marianne Ivison, ladies and gentlemen. Follow her on Twitter. There you go.
Bye, Marianne.
Was that a little strong having a female on the show? And
Talking about warts on your asshole?
Yeah.
Please tell
Like
me
Locke
that's
with his
real.
feet.
well, you guys were blogging last 2 Fridays. I just had so much shit to do. I couldn't do it. And then you guys were blogging last 2 Fridays. You're like, I know where Dean is. He's cross-dressing. I know where Dean is. He's at the axe throwing Olympics. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm not,
Seminary training.
and so like on Saturday, because I really did try to stay off the internet this weekend. Absolutely destroyed it. And I try because I like to give myself these breaks, little breaks, because it's like 16, 18 hours a day, right? So I try to give myself a break the last couple Fridays. And you guys not only, and I thought you would appreciate it, but not only did you not appreciate it,
Here
you
comes
guys
the topic,
used it
Bill.
to suggest that I might be wearing women's panties or I was having things burnt off
We're
of
not-
my rectum.
We're not judging.
I
If that's what you need in your
That's
life,
what you were doing.
then we're here to support you, Dean.
You know what's great though? It'd be great if you could tell us before 2:30 the day of the show,
That's
so we could make fucking plans too.
Well, and to Dean's credit, I called Dean on Thursday night and said, I am going to have problems making because we had a luncheon with a client, and I'm going to have trouble making the Friday on time. I swear to God, I'm trying to actually support Dean here because he has a point, even though he has
Really
a wart
feels
problem
like
on his
it.
anus. He did say, listen, I'll tell you what, let's just pull the pin now. We just didn't tell you because we thought it would be funny for you to find out 30 minutes before. Literally.
That's true.
Oh, I hope you die next weekend. Cunt. Glad everybody had big plans on Friday, unlike
Yes.
Ryan prepping for a show.
Sorry, dude. I apologize.
Hey guys, where are you?
Yeah.
We
It
going
was
on
funny
the air?
because I remember that text. You're like, just a quick note. Are we going in the next half hour or not? I'm like, oh no, we canceled it this
We
morning.
canceled last night.
yesterday. Fuck, we talked. Well, Show.
Sorry, buddy. I'm really
Show.
sorry. But we will be back tomorrow because we got Pete Zedlecker. He's going to be on the show. Pete is a very fucking funny comedian. He's part of this little comedy tour that's running around the country. And talked to him yesterday. What a wonderful dude. He's a lot of fun. So we're going to have him on the program tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be here, Linz, because we're starting 4, go to 6.
I get to come tomorrow. I'm
for the whole thing.
I have a doctor's appointment, and then I ended up switching shifts, so I'm on the cool shift tomorrow. So
are you having warts burnt off your asshole?
That's
private.
I'll tell you at 2:30 tomorrow if I am or not.
If I get a wart on my anus, I'm doing a video of the removal, just so you guys know. I can get into Happy Baby, no problem. So there'll be lots of camera angles.
Happy Baby.
Someone's gonna go and do the Tarantella on your bongo bob there, or
that's a yoga reference. That's a yoga reference right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Happy baby.
Yeah.
Happy Baby.
Yeah. You want me to show you what Happy Baby is?
Yeah. Can we see it real quick before we go?
Happy Baby, ladies and gentlemen. Lachlan Cross to end the show doing a yoga pose.
Get the camera.
He's got about 85 days straight of yoga gone. Look at this. He's showing us his nuts.
Package.
Thanks for the package shot, dude. That's great.
Shot.
Yeah, here we go. He's got his yoga mat. This is the Happy Baby move.
It's like he was waiting for it. Yeah. Like, why is that mat there?
Yeah, we could get a great shot of your asshole like that. That would be a great way to do it.
Isn't that how they get the sunning? Isn't that how people put sunshine on their asshole?
Yeah, that is a great point. Yeah, like the sun.
Now you got a good shot of my crotch.
That was your asshole. Like it was like you were signaling fucking the space station with your asshole.
Yeah,
that's how open that was.
Yeah, you just pointed out. Lynn's just pointed out the Happy Baby is a good move for people that like to sun their assholes. There's that whole movement of people that love to do that. Apparently,
that wasn't real. That was kind of like Marianne's fake video.
No, dude, it was sunning your asshole is a real thing.
Yeah, that's a real thing. People that think they ingest energy from their asshole actually has infiltrated those Facebook groups. Lachlan, I'm not kidding,
dude. It's called perineum sunning.
That's it.
Can you get warts on your anus though? I've not heard of that.
Undercarriage warts for sure you can. You know that porn star Sasha Grey? Yeah, Bonzi's had him for years. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's got his undercarriage is just jammed with warts.
It's like a flea market in there. It's like a bazaar.
Bonzi's entire undercarriage is just a wart, like the whole thing, from nutsack all the way to the top of his crack. It just looks like an extra asshole. It goes like all the way down and around. The whole gooch is just covered. It looks like a pile of grapes.
Remember he was draining it in your shower when he was house sitting for you?
Oh, that's right. He did. I thought that was a cyst or something. No, I didn't know that was a wart.
I would still be
he's all warded up.
You.
Woo!
All right, boys.
Thanks, guys.
That was great a good one today.
We'll see you tomorrow.
You bet.
Thanks, boys. That's Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM Edmonton. At Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Ryan Lindley from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast. Follow him.
I got to phone him now.
All right. Go call him.
I feel bad for telling him he's going to die.
Yeah, on the highway. That was a tough analogy. God forbid, but what if you fucking die?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
I know.
Now I'm going to cry like Jordan Peterson when I call him.
I doubt that. I think he'll be fine. Anyway, thanks for doing this, brother. Great to see you.
Buddy. We'll see you tomorrow.
At Ryan Lindley on Twitter is where you can find him as well. And his lovely wife, Ashley, the Sheeple Shepherd podcast. Thanks to, again, lovely Mary Anne Ivison for being here from the Let's Take This Outside podcast. My friend Caryma Rules at Caryma Saad, at Caryma Rules on Twitter. Caryma Saad, sadvocacy.com. Yeah, that's her website. Sadvocacy.com. Like advocate, but sadvocacy.com. Follow her on Twitter as well at Caryma Rules. Have a great day. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for spending your day with us. We really appreciate it. Everybody in our comment section, thank you again. Everybody's now talking about perineal sunning, sunning your butthole for energy. It is not a real thing. Don't do it. There are people that do it, but they are not normal people. So if you're going to do it, do it in your backyard, not in the front. But have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to Dean Blundell Show on YouTube. Same thing with Twitch, Dean Blundell TV, Apple, Google, Spotify, That's where you can find everything that we do. And the network is at deanblundell.com, over 100 podcasts to choose from. And you can kind of have a look at everything we do there as well. So appreciate you being here. Thanks to our sponsors and friends at Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial helping you get in a car, making it painless. All credit welcome. These guys are ninjas. Use them today. No obligation. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Also, don't forget, you can hang out with our friends at Domination. If you're a content provider, producer, someone that makes content like this, they've got some AI that you can use and try for free. Go to dmntn.com. Again, dmntn.com. If you want to produce content in a fraction of the time it normally takes you to record and produce any promos, etc., domination.com. Again, dmntn.com. And Ed's Fine Imports is Gitch. We wear them, put them on your body. He's got a promo code for you, Gitch3. That is the promo code for edsfineimports.com. Luxury branded underwear, boxer briefs, pouch in the front. You'll never wear another pair. That much I can guarantee you, because that's all I wear now. And I'm not saying that because they're our sponsor. They are the best underwear you'll ever buy, fellas. Boxer briefs, Gitch. Gitch3 is your promo code, edsfineimports.com. Have a great day. See you tomorrow on the show. Pete Zedlecker, comedian, and a couple other things. Have a great day. We'll see you then. Bye.